Good afternoon, Game Informer viewers, trolls, and readers. Welcome to another episode of Test Chamber. I'm your host, Andrew Reiner, and today, for the first time ever, I'm joined by Jeff Marchiafava.
Hey, what's up? I'm excited.
Marchiafava, as we call you in the office. We're playing Sony's Starhawk from Lightbox, developer Lightbox. And here come the droids. Here come C-3PO and R2-D2. That was very cool. Seems like a poor way of getting out, though. Just exploding like that all across the terrain.
It's hard on the joints.
And you'd think your teammates would probably steer clear of the landing zone.
I'll get that lined out.
So, Fava, I know it's kind of hard to talk and play during the show. Tell me what's going on here. We're about halfway through the game.
Yep. I'm shooting these guys. They're all addicted to that green energy that's shooting out of that hole in the ground.
And your guy has glowy eyes, right?
He does, but I think he's got some kind of metal things on his back that stop him from transforming into one of these losers.
Okay, so it's something in the air. He's not, like, smoking it with, like, a crack pipe or anything like that. No. Okay. So it's very much kind of Command and Conquer Tiberium kind of thing? Like, stay away from this stuff?
Sure.
Okay, we're in business.
So you're just going to go right in there?
Now I'm going to go build a thing on it.
Okay, so you're... How is the base building in this?
It's super fast and really easy to use.
So what are you building here?
This thing extracts the energy out of that giant hole.
The energy's flowing to the tankers.
Okay. And that gives you a currency to build more stuff?
Yep. Yep. And it's also important for story reasons that I don't quite understand. But
all right, let's talk about the story a little bit.
It's not great, Reiner.
Why? You play. The guy sounds cool. Emmett Graves. That's an awesome name.
That's a good name.
Congrats to his parents for that name.
All right, so now I'm gonna build one of these garages. That's gonna fly in from outer space. There you go.
Wow, that is quick.
Just jump right in there.
Very cool. So what are you doing here, outside of just building cool stuff?
You run around and shoot aliens.
Okay.
And blow up their crap. You can all.
That's the battle cry here?
Yep,
let's blow up their crap!
Yeah, so I'll build this. The outpost lets you spawn allies, so they'll shoot down.
Okay. So they really need that? You didn't need that to come down.
Nope. Because I'm super cool. I'm Emmett Graves, man. I don't need any lame outposts there.
Wow, that guy slid across the hood.
That's right, he's cool.
You have the coolest team ever.
All right, so now we're going to go blow up the enemies at another one of these things and try and take it over. It's probably going to go horribly.
And your gunner's shooting automatically, kind of Halo-esque here?
Yep. But it has actual controls, actual brake and gas, which I appreciate. You're not just driving around by the joystick.
I actually got really good at that in Halo.
Yeah?
Sucked at it for like my first few hours, but then, whoa!
Oh, crap.
That was beautiful.
That guy was a jerk.
Yeah, nobody's going to blame you for that death. That was a well-deserved death. That guy deserved to kill you. And so what kind of checkpoint do we have here? All your stuff's gone now.
Yeah. And I just threw a grenade out of anger and confusion. All right.
So this is the single-player campaign.
Yep.
How is the multiplayer different?
So multiplayer, it's basically you play capture the flag or kind of like a domination-style zones mode, where you're trying to take over things very similar to this, but there's no story.
Sweet.
There we go. And it's 16 on 16 battles, which is nice.
That's pretty cool. How's the frame rate and all that performance hold up?
Good. It does well. Everything does well. It's a little harder than most, online games like Call of Duty or Battlefield, because the team that builds the most stuff has a great advantage over the people who suck and don't fight together.
Is there like a general on your team that's in charge of building stuff?
Not really. Anyone can build anything, but you can get a squad leader perk that lets people spawn on top of you.
Is it communal resources, or does everybody have their own currency?
Everyone has their own currency.
Okay, that's good then.
Yep. Whoa! They blew that thing up.
Oh, sweet, dude. You jumped right as that exploded.
That's right. I'm at my graves, damn it.
You got Jack with you?
Alright, so now I think we can take over this one.
So they pretty much have the same base you do?
Yeah, they were controlling him, so I'm trying to take him over.
Ah, okay.
Just like that.
So basically what humans do, we just conquer civilizations for no cause other than to take their
space
stuff.
oil, essentially.
Is that kind of the conflict?
Yeah, pretty much. Except
what
the
is it?
space oil turns you into monsters, too.
Is it called space oil?
It's called Rift Energy.
Okay.
That was my own
I actually like
stupid
space oil
name.
better.
Yeah. Oh, they're shooting rockets at me. But yeah, the story mode is okay. It's basically every level's built on a multiplayer map. And so they try to build a story around it. The story isn't very interesting.
And the cutscenes are done in, it looks like comic storyboards that are animated a little bit and then some live action in-engine stuff.
Yeah, they're not great.
Drop a rig.
That's cool looking. So
You
what
know,
other
it's actually-
vehicles do you end up getting?
You have this, you can get a jetpack, you can get kind of like a speeder bike from Star Wars, and then of course the Starhawks, which are kind of flying mechs.
And is this connected to the Warhawk universe?
I don't believe so. It's more of a spiritual successor.
So Sony just likes their Hawks then.
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you?
And does this have any connection with the Starhawk, the American writer and activist?
We can only hope so.
How do you get that name?
I think you have hippie parents. First part. So now I captured all those things, and now they're going to try and take them back, which they'll probably succeed at.
What's that mean? The red Jeep.
That means they're going to send jeeps at me.
Okay. And will there be multiple icons if there's like ships and stuff coming as well?
Yep. And they'll kind of count down time as they come in.
So when they first announced this game, I thought it would be all space battles. And I got really excited, like, man, that could be amazing, like 16 on 16 space battles. Anything like that in the game?
There are quite a few space battles. There's some... You can pretty much... You can build Starhawks on most bases.
Wouldn't bother buying them out here.
But usually there's always that mix of you can be in mechs flying around or you can be on foot at the same time.
I don't want to interrupt this fascinating building process you have going here, but let's go take a quick look at a space battle.
Okay.
All right, we're back. Jeff, this doesn't look like space. This
Well,
looks
you
like
know,
a mech.
you gotta get into the mech first.
Oh, dude. It transforms?
Yeah, and you kind of ride on top of it, which is weird.
Yeah, you probably don't want to do that if you're going outside.
As soon as they open one of these doors.
Is it like Robotech? I'm going to guess a lot of people died in the testing phases of this thing. All right, so you can fly anywhere?
Yep.
How big is this arena or an environment, I guess?
It's pretty big. So the yellow is the outer side.
Oh, okay, that's cool. And what are the controls like here?
Pretty much exactly like Crimson Skies. So you can dodge, and then you can do kind of a fast turnaround like that.
God, I loved Crimson Skies.
Yeah, definitely.
And they announced they might be bringing that back. We'll see if they ever get around to it, but that was such an underrated game. Or maybe not underrated, underappreciated, I guess I should say.
Good luck to you.
So that dumb guy's gonna talk to me for a while. Just
Get this Hawk back in the air. Head for the next platform.
All right. So you're around Saturn? Is this located near Earth, or is this way out in the middle of nowhere
I think
space?
these are, fictional planets.
You just visiting these guys, doing inventory checks?
Well,
What's going on?
I mean, they're hardworking space miners. They appreciate
Here's that
visits
nail
every
gun
now
I
and then.
borrowed from you.
Yep.
See you, Sal.
I ain't telling you. It's fine by me. Hey, who's that guy?
As you can tell, the in-game cutscenes are not great.
That's beautiful, though.
It kind of reminded me of the first Infamous, how their engine really couldn't handle that kind of detail up close. But oh, see, that guy needs to be shot down.
Is that what you call a bogey? A space bogey?
Space bogey.
We have reports of a rogue ship in the area.
That's it. Our cue.
All right, let's see this, Fava. Let's see your skills.
See if that rift is.
I don't have any rockets yet, so this is going to be ugly.
So I'm guessing they're mining these rocks? Or are they mining the planet below?
I think it's a combination of both.
Broadcast Hawk. Got him. Guns are running
So how does the targeting system work here? Can you lead targets? Or is it whatever's just in your...
Yeah, so
oh, okay, I
if you
see
get
there.
into that crosshair, the bullets will kind of snap on like
That's
that.
cool.
Usually you'll also have some kind of rockets that don't overheat like that.
All right, you got them on fire. So there's sound in space. That's a myth. A lot of people said there wouldn't be sound, but there actually is.
And fire too.
around in no time.
No way. When we start betting, things go bad.
That makes it interesting.
So how big do these battles get? Do you go against like space stations, stuff like that?
By the specs.
A Death Star? Is there like a tunnel run?
No Death Stars. There is one huge ship towards the end. Spoiler alert. But usually it's smaller waves of enemies. Maybe around 5 or 6.
Now, if you had to break up the game into components, how does this stack up to the other stuff that you were playing that you were kind of lukewarm on?
I actually like the space battles the most. I think the controls handle really well. The graphics are cool.
Space flares.
You gotta deploy space flares.
Flares are recharging.
Look at that monocle on that guy.
I know.
Turn and burn, Emmy. Missile coming in hot.
She feels good.
Smooth and
All right, so when the warning comes up, that's when you deploy your flare.
Yep, or dodge.
Okay.
Or just get shot. Sometimes, that's cool too.
And you're locking onto a target, very Ace Combat.
Yeah, if they would actually give me rockets, you basically just hold the crosshair over for a couple seconds and it will lock on.
Is this the first space mission? Is that why you don't
It
have?
is,
Okay.
yeah. They're still trying to teach
I didn't know
us.
if there was like a loadout that you skipped or what. And how long would you say the single player campaign is?
There are 10 levels, so probably around 8 hours, I guess.
Or this
Depending on
battle
how many
here
times
seems
you-
like it's going to go for
Yeah.
about 8 hours.
Pretty much. I'm just gonna take those rockets up the butt.
All right, that's the technical term for it.
Yep. Blow up.
Nice.
Thank you.
And
Can I
this is multiplayer as
Go
well?
through the donut.
Just space
asteroid?
battles?
No, usually you can always build Warhawks and fly around, so you'll have people battling like this. There are a couple maps that take place on space stations like that, but there's always that on-foot element and base building element.
And you can have these Starhawk vehicles that transform on land as well.
Yep.
And in that transformed form, the mech form, do you have rockets and stuff like that?
Yep. You can still shoot all those and stuff.
looks like there's movement near the mining platform up ahead.
That's pretty cool.
Marked it for you.
All right, I'm on my way. I'm done being a target.
All right, I'm going to cut you off here again, and let's go take a look at a couple other vehicles.
All right.
I thought I missed something.
All right, we're back on the ground. Is it all Wild West, by the way?
Yeah, that's kind of the motif.
Ship made. Must be nice.
Captain of the enemy.
All right, we got our little speeder bikes here.
Yep.
Union Renical.
They seem very dangerous.
Yeah, he didn't put on a seatbelt, which is a problem, I think.
Just seems like those little legs could get
He
caught on
didn't
something.
jump on him.
So they really made him look like a horse.
Yep.
I took the pit
What?
refinery years ago.
That's a shame.
Looks like your homecoming is a bit too late.
All right.
Cutter, any word
So this
on
looks like a little bit more linear level. Like there isn't any bases or anything like that to build.
You'll still build stuff.
Pretty. It's got the only working
The map ends up, they kind of wind you through it, but there aren't really any limitations as to where you can go.
Oh, okay.
Jonas is saying they've only mined about half their
And it seemed like you were building stuff pretty quickly in most RTS games. Like when you
That's what we do.
upgrade stuff, it gets faster, or you build multiples, you can get it, like your resource gathering a little faster. Is there anything like that, or is it all just pretty instantaneous? You just build one thing?
They pretty much rocket down straight from space right away, which is nice in multiplayer that you're not waiting around.
And in terms of multiplayer, is there a level cap? Are you unlocking new stuff?
Yeah, you'll level up, which opens up new skills. It gives you basically points that you can buy new skills with. But the bases are pretty much static.
And are you creating classes?
No classes, no.
Can you is a skill like sniping? What are some of the skills that you end up getting?
Yeah, they'll improve upon different things. So like the squad leader perk that I mentioned will allow other players to spawn on top of you. Otherwise, they have to spawn at one of those little points that we created, one of the beacons. Oh, that was one of my guys. But then you can also build like sniper towers, which will give you sniper weapons inside of it as well. So you're not always picking them up on the map, different weapons.
And what about the enemies? Like, it seems like they're all kind of humanoid-like.
Yep. And they pretty much stay that way except for a couple bosses and stuff.
And then they have their own vehicles,
yep,
stuff like that. So it's kind of an even fight.
Yeah, definitely.
That's kind of cool. All right, well, I think we've seen... Whoa, that's a great way to end it.
Yeah.
Nice backflip or front
another one
flip
of those
death.
snipers. God, they're jerks.
Make sure you make note of that in your review.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for joining us, Fava.
Yeah.
And,
it was fun.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.